Welcome back or welcome to the Storytime Society. I really need like a little rest for my arm over here. And maybe switch this over here. I don't know. Ugh. Okay, we're back. We're back. All right, so so this week I have to not study. I have to record an extra time because I'm going out of town this weekend for a cruise that I bought for my boyfriend for his birthday, and I'm really excited. It's just a weekend cruise. It's 3 nights, and we're going to the Bahamas and to the Keys, and it should be really fun. I got like the drink packages for us, and then we got a balcony room, which is going to be so fun. And we've never been on a cruise together, so I think that will be a nice, like, fun little experience because I've only been on one cruise in my life when I was just, like, 13 or 14, a sophomore in high school. And it was really fun. And, like, I feel like it will be even more fun now that I'm older and I can, like, have a couple drinks, some cocktails, like, also, the balcony room, I feel like is going to be my favorite part because I'm going to drink my coffee on the balcony on a cruise ship. Like, that sounds so fun. So, yeah, this is the Tuesday episode. When you're watching the Friday and the Monday, or no. When you're watching the Friday and the next Tuesday episode is the episodes that I filmed before the weekend. Yeah, because I'm going to film an extra episode so that I have everything, all my ducks in a line. Don't want to miss an episode for you guys and for me because I love doing it. So I just want to make sure that I got everything covered. Anyways, I think that's really it. Me and my boyfriend's. Oh, I think I told you guys last time actually that me and my boyfriend's anniversary was this weekend. And it was really nice. He set up a little beach picnic for us. He got like calamari pizza, salad, wings, wine. He got me like a dozen red roses, and I met him there. And then he got me this necklace, this little blue Nile necklace. It has my birthstone and then like a little heart charm on it. It's really cute. But yeah, it was cute. I definitely had a hint to him before, like, I want something romantic, and also, like, I really like this jewelry. It was, like, a birthstone ring of his ring, or his birthstone and my birthstone, and he's like, I wanted to get you that, but it was a little late, so, and, yeah, so, it was really sweet. It was really sweet. He's a really nice guy, so that was nice. But let's get into the stories for this week. I hope you guys have had an amazing day or morning or night, or you guys have an amazing day or morning or night whenever you guys are watching this. I think I already have a story in mind that I want to read for the first story for you guys because it's just a little like, what? I don't understand how so much cat hair gets on this microphone. It's actually insane. Okay, so the first story of this episode is called My Husband's... Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Don't be mad, but I have my latte. I always say this in the beginning. Get your drink and join me for Storytime Society. Slay! We got new beans, and they're really yummy. Okay, now it's time for story time. So sorry. Don't get mad. My husband's affair partner passed, and it seems like I'm expected to give a reaction. We've been married for over a decade, but at some point I found out he'd been cheating on me for 3 years with his ex, his first love, whose parents didn't let them get married. She tried to break up our wedding, and his whole family kept that a secret from me until the affair had revealed. To keep it short, a lot of shit went down, and she said some really vicious and awful things to me. She absolutely hated me and thought that I didn't deserve her man, that I'm ugly and I smell, and so much other stuff. We ended up staying together for the kids. I'm still healing and don't think the love will ever be the same for my husband, but I chose to forgive and maintain normalcy for the sake of my kids. Things are going okay. However, I was informed by a mutual friend that the woman passed away a few days ago. We are all under 35, so it's definitely kind of shocking. And the person who told me knows the hell that I went through and the emotional turmoil, but they've never been cheated on, so they'd never really know how it feels. And is going on and on about how bizarre it is and how they feel terrible and asking me if I'm okay. I'm not sure if the purpose is to elicit a reaction from me or if they're genuinely concerned. I have no emotional ties to this woman, nor do I feel I owe her anything. He found out this morning and said something like, well, you're probably not sad. I was like, if you had left me for her and received such news, would you expect her to be sad for me? So, am I the asshole for not being devastated or even really that upset? He literally left the house, leaving me with 2 screaming kids to make a private phone call to her brother in law to find out what had happened. Is that not supposed to get under my skin? Okay. I don't want to be like, how do you say? What word am I looking? Morbid, because obviously, like, a woman lost her life, and that is very sad. And young too, but like at the same time, not saying anyone deserves to die, because that's definitely not what I'm saying, and I don't have the right to say who has the right to live and who has the right to die. But I would probably not really care either, like, honestly. And I think I would be even more mad because probably the only reason that the affair is stopping is because she died. And I don't understand how she's staying with the kids. But I think I might have said this in an episode before. One thing that I genuinely believe so wholeheartedly with my whole entire heart is staying together for the kids is worse than just getting a divorce. Like, truly, in my opinion, I think it is so selfish when parents say, I mean, I know every parent is doing the best they can. So obviously no one's perfect. No one knows what really to do and what's the best thing. But some people really think this. And I genuinely just think it's so selfish because if anything, staying together for the kids is so much worse than just getting a divorce and being separated and trying your best to just be civil and co-parent your children. You know, like, staying together for the kids is only showing them a loveless relationship. And then they're going to grow up thinking this is what a relationship is supposed to look like. And then they're going to think that a bad relationship that they're in is normal because that's what they grew up with. Or if you guys are like fighting and stuff like that, they're going to think that's normal. And I can't imagine you guys are showing a great representation of a loving relationship. So I'm sure you're doing damage to the kids in the way that they have and the way that they look at relationships. So, and anything, like, it's just so toxic because obviously you guys are not in a good place, and then that is just in some way, like, subconsciously or energetically or something like that is being passed down to the kids. And the best thing to do would be to, like, see your self-worth and be like, this is not a good situation for me to be in. This is not, like, I'm worthy of a better relationship. And if someone is going to do this to me, then I should not be in this relationship, and show your kids that it's okay to leave and you don't have to stay in a toxic relationship for anything, for any reason. There's zero reason, genuinely, to stay in a toxic relationship. And I know it's easier said than done because obviously there are scenarios in which it is so hard to leave a relationship like that, like in abusive relationships and things like that. I know it's not easy, and I've never been in a situation like that, but I can only imagine and be empathetic with the fact that it's not easy and you could be risking your life. But from what I can tell, it's not that situation. And I think that you could definitely leave. Okay, so now I'm going to read some comments and see what other people are thinking, and maybe it will give me a different perspective. I don't know. We'll see. Because sometimes what you guys, like, comment and then, like, some of the comments on here say, once I read them, I'm like, okay, Yeah, and that gives me like a new perspective on the situation, but I'm not sure that anything is going to give me a new perspective on this. So the top comment says, your best strategy is to act indifferent. Don't get angry with your husband, just ignore his upset. If anyone asks you about how you feel, just tell them aside from you knowing she hated you, you didn't really know her at all. In about a month or so, you should tell your husband you want a divorce and tell him he never had a right to destroy your marriage with his shit, and then walk away. And then the comments on that are, now he doesn't have anyone to run to. He'll be a perfect husband. That ship sailed a decade ago. He keeps breaking your boundaries. Now he will make you look like the bad guy because you aren't upset or won't allow him to mourn properly. Think about yourself and kids. You will never be first and will now compete with a ghost. I think you should just be extraordinarily happy around the house, especially when he is around. Sing happily to yourself. Maybe sing the Wizard of Oz song about the Wicked Witch being dead. Maybe record it and play it on a loop. That would be a reaction, but I'm a vindictive sob. Oh my god, that's kind of funny, but probably don't do that. The first, I don't know how to pronounce this word. The first pantomime my daughter was a part of, they sang that damn song. She was 6 years old at the time. She's now 32, and I can still remember that shite as I attended all the practice sessions with her. So I'll jot down some of the verses for you so you can learn word by word by the time he gets back. Wake up, sleepyhead. Rub your eyes. Get out of bed. I'm dead. Girl, sing it out loud. Update me. Yeah, so I think the consensus is saying that she should get a divorce. Most of these people are just saying, get a divorce, girl. Which I agree. But I'm always open to other people's perspectives because sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right about that, honestly. And then sometimes I'm like, no, I can't see it any other way. Let's see if there's any updates. I think there's mostly just comments that she's commenting back. The guy's story is that I put him through graduate school, and because I wasn't available enough due to working nearly 80 hours. Damn it, why didn't it do that? I already know where that comment's going. It's not going to make me happy. My computer's being so slow right now. He said I'm being selfish, I'm sick, having a flare of my chronic illness, and he's not even asking how I'm feeling because he's so busy grieving. Yeah, the person that told me later on, I told her that my husband made comments on how happy I must be and that I was pissed about that. So she said something like, she's gone now. It doesn't matter what you feel or some shit like that. Yes, it does. It doesn't erase what happened. Okay, the guy's story is that I put him through graduate school, and because I wasn't available enough due to working nearly 80 hours to keep our asses afloat, he thought it was okay to cheat. That's always the men's excuse. Like, you were busy and you couldn't have sex with me or alleviate me, so I just cheated. It's fine. It's genuinely so scary. Like, can you just admit that it's not like you were a shitty person and a shitty husband for doing that? Because that's just life. Like, what, you expect someone to be available for you all the time for the rest of your life. You don't expect to go through like situations where one of you is really busy, or maybe one of you, I don't know, gets in a car accident and is in a coma. And then what? Are you going to go cheat on them because they didn't have time to like jerk you off or something? It's so annoying. It's like Tom Sandoval and Vanderpump Rules trying to be like, we were never having sex. So like, I just went and did it with your best friend instead. It's actually crazy. Okay. I want to read this one because I read the title earlier and I was like, where's this going? My. Oh, wait. Frick. I need to. Okay. My 25 female boyfriend's 26 male sister is weirdly obsessed with him. He's taking her on a holiday and I don't know how to convince him. It's super weird. Let's see. Let's see what this is about. I have been dating my boyfriend Mike for just under 18 months. Our relationship has become really serious. We have even started to discuss things like marriage, children, etc. We moved from England to Wales about 6 months ago because I got a job opportunity that required us to relocate. He was able to convert to working from home, so he has stayed employed by his old company. We now live about 70 miles away from our hometown. Because it's so far, we rarely visit home, maybe once every 6 weeks or so. Whenever we visit, we stay with Mike's parents, and every time we go, his sister is incredibly obsessed with Mike and won't leave him alone. It's to the point where it's really weird and almost like she has some sort of romantic feelings for him. I brought this up to Mike and he says I'm being crazy, but I'm not. For example, she will snuggle up to him on the sofa, so I have to sit somewhere else. She will ask for him to take her shopping to places that I don't like. She'll make him take her to restaurants and they'll have fancy meals together. It is so weird how she treats him like a boyfriend. They have a holiday to Spain booked for this summer holiday to the town where Mike grew up. They booked this before we were dating, but it is just them two and it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. I first asked for him to change the booking so I could come along as well. I said I would pay for the extra, obviously. He said he contacted the travel agents, but they weren't able to change the bookings anymore and that they couldn't book a separate package for me because the hotel was booked up. Yesterday, I told him I think it's really weird that he wants to spend 2 weeks alone with her in a foreign country, and when I said this to him, he blew up at me and kicked me out of the house. Like, genuinely kicked me out for just questioning him about this, which has made me feel it's even more weird than I thought. We ended up having a huge argument, like the biggest we've ever had, and now I'm considering booking a separate hotel nearby, the one they're staying at, just so I can keep an eye on her. I have been texting him and ringing him, and he hasn't answered or responded to me at all. I don't understand how he doesn't see this as weird, especially considering how obsessed she is with him. As I mentioned earlier, it just makes me feel sick and I don't know what to do. How do I express to him that this is not normal? How do I show him there's something weird about how his sister treats him? Okay, what? What do you, okay. The comments are, I'm struggling to see what the issue is. How old is the sister? What do you mean you're struggling to see the issue? I am worried for you if that is the case. There isn't anything weird about the sibling relationship you described. The only problem here is you. You don't think it's weird how obsessed she is with him, or how when I question him on the relationship, he kicks me out of their house? What? Is this girl okay? Oh my god, what? Is she like a only child or something? I don't know. What? That's so not weird at all. That, and maybe he's kicking you out of the house because you're accusing him of like being in a romantic relationship with his sister. How old is his sister? Because it doesn't sound like they're close in age. She's 9. She's 9, but will be 10 this year. She's 9. She's literally 9. That makes everything even more normal than it already was. What? She's obsessed with him? Probably because she loves him and she looks up to him and she's literally 9 years old. My niece, when I go home, she's growing up now, but she's still like, she's what? She's in 5th grade, almost in 6th grade. So she's like around the same age, a couple years older. And yeah, she would literally like want to be attached to me because I don't live by her. I live in Florida. She lives in Iowa, in my hometown. And she would literally be like so happy. I would stay at her house and sleep in her bed with her. Like, what? What? I'm so scared. Like, what? That's genuinely, if someone was like, if my boyfriend came home with me and then he saw like I was like having a sleepover with my niece and we were always like together, and when I was sitting on the couch she was coming and laying next to me, and then like I was taking her on a trip and he was like, I'm like concerned about your sister and like the relationship that you have, like it seems like, or your niece, like it seems like your niece has like romantic feelings for you. I would literally break up with him on the spot. I would be like, are you genuinely, if your brain is going there, I am scared of what else it's thinking, because that is so, huh? Like, yeah, obviously if like they were older and it was like, oh, they're both like 25, 27, and like the not the little, and like the 25-year-old sister was like coming and being like all up on him and stuff, even that is like not weird. Like, what? You guys don't really see your sibling that? I don't think that's that weird. Like, what? The first comment, or the top comment, says, wow, when I first read this, I read it as boyfriend is 25 and sister is 26. And I was like, yeah, okay. We've seen some sketchy siblings in this sub. I'll hear her out. And then I got to the last slide where she said she was 9. Absolutely insane. This person needs help. And then it says, right? How does she not see that she is accusing her, probably by now ex boyfriend, of incest in P word? I don't know if I can say that. With her concerns over his relationship with his little sister. Instead, she goes on about essentially planning to stalk them on their holiday to keep an eye on a 9-year-old child. Even if their sibling relationship was concerning, which I don't think it is, and she feels the need to keep an eye on them, how did she come to the conclusion that the child would be to blame instead of the 25-year-old man? Absolutely insane. And while I hope this is fake, I have met too many people who apparently had to scramble to get some leftovers from the common sense soup. Yeah, that's honestly so true, because if it were and like they were having a weird little incest romantic relationship, you would be like, that 9-year-old, she's trying to steal my man. Not be like, my boyfriend is a criminal. What? I know. I don't like this. Okay, I want to see if the original post is on the original subreddit that it was posted on, because I really want to go to her profile. I don't think it is. Oh, wait. Let's see. I want to go and see like what she's saying to people. Okay. Let's go. Ah, Nora. Sorry, this post was removed by Reddit's filters. Wait, are people, can I still read the comments? I'm really struggling to see what the issue is. You're jealous of a child. Stop making things so weird. I thought the story was going to be about an adult. She's 9. It's completely normal for kids that age to idolize their older sibling, and she's feeling some separation anxiety because he just moved away. This should be a huge green flag for you that he treats his baby sister so well, and instead you're trying to drive a wedge. The presumption of demanding that your boyfriend change his family travel plans to include you because you're jealous of a freaking third grader is wild. And you're basically accusing his little sister of having incestual feelings for him on top of that, and insinuating that there's something untoward about him spending time with her. What the F? I hope this is fake. You're planning to stalk your boyfriend to another country to make sure what? His 9-year-old sister doesn't try to F him? I don't know how you can see that this is unhinged. He's probably dumped you. If you show up next to his hotel, he will likely seek some sort of restraining order, and rightfully so. You are the one who sounds obsessed. Yeah, that's honestly so true. OP says they've been together for 18 months, not 6. They moved to Wales 6 months ago. Not that that makes anything better. In fact, considering they booked the holiday before they were together means over 18 months ago would indicate that it's an expensive trip or the boyfriend could only afford to pay a little each month towards it. I'm mad how OP is acting. You sound psycho. There isn't anything weird about the sibling relationship. You need therapy like yesterday. Please do not have children. You do not have empathy. You have no idea how they behave, and it's obvious you are an only child. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, is she an only child? Because there's no way that someone with siblings would think this way. Have you been through some unresolved trauma? The fact that you really seem to think that you're in the right here is very alarming. Probably go to counseling to help you navigate your anger through this very weird reaction you're having. I couldn't agree more with that, and I'm really upset that I can't even. Oh wait, is that her account? I just want to know, like, what. I want to know what this girl has to say for herself, cause that is just so scary. Okay. This one, the title is really funny, so I want to read it. My boyfriend told me he was a doctor, and I walked in on him behind the counter at a Taco Bell. I think that is so funny for some reason. I mean, like, what? Not the complete opposite career. Like, you couldn't have been like, I'm a car salesman or something. You had to say, I'm a doctor, but you really work at Taco Bell. Okay. I met him on an app 3 months ago. Oh, by the way, she is 24 and her boyfriend is 32. I met him on an app 3 months ago. He said he was a doctor and that he did his undergrad in biology at an Ivy League school. Everything was going great, the sex was fantastic, and he was very romantic, although he didn't like to spend a lot of money on me. Last night, I just happened to walk into a Taco Bell and saw him working there behind the corner. We looked at each other, and I went up and ordered without addressing him. Then I went home to process what I had seen. I tried calling him today, but he wouldn't answer. How could he lie to me like this? Do men do this often? I'm in absolute shock. Should I just forgive him for lying and move on with the relationship, or should I dump him? I'm not sure if I would have given him a chance if I knew he worked at Taco Bell from the start, but I'm in love with him at this point. What do I do once I manage to talk to him again? Um, that is insane. That's like a very insane and elaborate lie that I can't even imagine how, like, that takes, how much energy that takes to continue a lie like that. But, okay. The top comment, and I wish I could see it better, but it's like a screenshot on another, like, cross-posted on a different sub. I don't want my computer to be. It's like looking so dark right now. It's so annoying. Because it's like stormy outside. Okay. It is not normal. Ooh, excuse me. It is not normal for people to lie like this. It is especially not normal to start a relationship off with such a big lie. Like others have said, who knows what else he has lied about or is capable of lying about. I'm sorry, but I personally think it's best to cut your losses now. For all you know, you are just in love with a fake character he created to woo you. I'm sorry, but it's absolutely hilarious that she went ahead and ordered Taco Bell anyway. Look, the cantina chicken is only here for a limited time. As a woman, I hate the guy for lying, but I can also see how a lonely person from a humble background would make up a story for affection. She was probably the only good thing going in his otherwise shitty life. Yeah, someone else commented, he could have said that he was in sales, but no, that's literally what I was thinking. That's exactly what I said. Like, you couldn't just said, like, I'm in sales. You had to say that you were a doctor of all things. Like, a doctor. Sir, And then at least like you are in sales. You're selling Taco Bell to people. The fact that he lied that big makes me think she was an escape from reality, especially since he is unwilling to talk to her now. He doesn't want to have to discuss his true circumstances. Men aren't built to withstand the pressures of the patriarchy. He probably doesn't realize his personality could be enough for a good woman and they could grow together. But why make up being a doctor? There are plenty of other respectable careers to lie about. An accountant, a school teacher, a restaurant manager, etc. The fact that he chose a top-notch career to lie about instead of something else makes me unsympathetic. I don't know. I just don't know enough details. Like, obviously that's crazy, and I would definitely be like, what the hell is happening? Why would you lie about that? But because at some time, like, what was he? I just want to know what he was thinking. Was he like, well, once we're really serious, I will be a doctor, and then I won't have to tell her that I lied. Like, what was he? I don't understand what he was thinking. Were you thinking that you were just never gonna have to tell her? Okay, that was also cross-posted, so I can't even see like if there was an update on that. Next story. There was one that I wanted to read that was long. Okay, here we go. My 29 female brother, 31 male, cheated on his pregnant wife, 31 female, with an old ex, 35 female. How do I continue my relationship with him? Some background: we have two maternal aunts who have suffered psychological issues. One is a diagnosed bipolar schizophrenic. My brother has always been an angry kid, and as we grew up, he would also keep weird things a secret. Did he graduate college or did he drop out? What does he do for his main income, etc.? My brother and sister-in-law have been together for 9 going on 10 years and have been married for 1.5 years. They are about to have twin boys. My sister-in-law is 8 months pregnant. 4 months ago, I would have told you my brother and sister-in-law were endgame, the perfect married couple. Now it's off the rails. It all started, for me, when my sister-in-law announced that they would have 2 baby showers, one at her mom's house and one at their house because both sides of the family are quite large. The shower at her mom's house was first, and I noticed my brother was really miserable. He's my older brother and is often, in my opinion, an ass. But that day it was something different. Maybe it was that my sister-in-law was also a bit miserable. But she's also pregnant with twins, so she can be whatever the hell she wants to be, and that's okay. But my brother's attitude was abnormal for such a happy occasion that I even mentioned it to my boyfriend when I got home, and my mom and I spoke quietly about it at the shower and said a silent prayer for my brother and sister-in-law's marriage/future. A few days later, my sister-in-law texts me, your brother is going through something. I think his bottled up past trauma with your parents is really getting to him as he's becoming a father. I want to support him, but he's completely shutting me out emotionally and physically. I would appreciate if you could reach out. He needs people who love him. He's not himself. I would also appreciate it if you didn't mention that I sent you to check in. Not trying to spy, don't need a report back, just want him to have the support that he needs. I reply, hey, I was thinking about checking in on him honestly, so I won't mention anything. I'm sorry you have to deal with him in his current state. There's definitely reasons why I don't want to be a parent myself, and my brothers have to face probably some of the same tough realities. Is he working today? What's his schedule? Do you know? She replied with his schedule and also told me, I can only imagine the pain both you and your brother went through growing up. I didn't have that experience, and your brother keeps saying because I didn't, we're too different. He planned a trip to Sedona during Mother's Day weekend to do ayahuasca. WTF, I think to myself. So I give my brother a call and I try my darndest to have a heart-to-heart with him and feel out what's going on with him. I notice he is refusing to use team building language when talking about the future and the twins. No use of the word we or us when discussing raising the kids. For me, that was a huge red flag. The next concern for me was when I asked him about the ayahuasca soul-searching journey he was embarking on out of the blue. He wouldn't answer any direct questions about it. Really weird. The whole discussion, he was very nonchalant about everything. It was kind of unnerving, especially when I could feel it in my bones that something wasn't right with him in the moment. I let my sister-in-law know that I checked up on my brother and I wasn't quite sure what to make of him, but he's a bit moody and he's definitely stressed about babies. My sister-in-law tells me a few hours later, maybe it isn't about the babies and he just doesn't love me anymore. He was has been emotion he has been emotionally cheating on me with his ex Hannah. I think I caught him texting with her since it came up on his phone in the car. I immediately call her. She recounts the last month or so of my brother being emotionally abusive to her, being very mean and spiteful, and him choosing out of the blue to start sleeping in the other bedroom. It seems like he is blaming everything on my sister-in-law, including being pregnant and all the hormonal and emotional problems that comes with that. Like they didn't spend a year doing IUI. It was an emotional conversation, and I was sick to my stomach afterwards. I promised to be there for her and try my best to remind my brother how lucky he is in life to have her and how wonderful their future was going to be if he sticks it out, because marriage is hard and love is a choice. 2 short weeks later, my brother and sister-in-law have their second baby shower. This is 1 week before Mother's Day, the weekend that my brother was going to Arizona to do ayahuasca. All goes off without a hitch. I steal away a moment of my sister-in-law's time before the party kicks off to check in, and she said they have had an emotional and physical connection the other day and seem to be hopefully taking a positive turn. Good. Fast forward to Mother's Day weekend. I wish my sister-in-law a happy Mother's Day and see if my mom heard from my brother. She said she hadn't, but oh well. My boyfriend and I continue to speculate on what my brother may actually be doing out in Arizona. The next day, Monday, my sister-in-law messaged me again and says it's been 72 hours without any contact with my brother and she was getting worried. My stomach drops. Again, I'm getting sick of feeling sick over my brother. I think to myself, maybe my brother also got the chronic depression from our father's side and took his life out in the desert. I know that'd be my plan if it was me and I was feeling some type of way, so I tell my sister-in-law, who's in full panic mode, calling the Arizona police and hospitals in the hotel in which my brother's spiritual journey launched from to no avail. I tell her my boyfriend and I will be over that afternoon to relax with her and cook dinner for her. We arrive and start talking about my brother and what she's been going through. We all start talking about the crappy itinerary he shared with her that looked like he typed it out himself. If it was a real spiritual journey, wouldn't it have been easier to print off the email confirmation or screenshot of the actual itinerary? My sister-in-law also brings up Hannah. Can't believe we're talking about this woman who 10 years ago dated my 19-year-old brother for a year and a half, broke up with him twice in that time. Oh, and also my brother was lying about his age to her the entire time. WTF. My sister-in-law tells me that my brother has been talking to her and he says it's not a big deal. It feels more like talking to an ex-wife and it's nothing. He assures my sister-in-law that Hannah is now engaged and lives somewhere in the same state as them. My sister-in-law then says I found his contacts to sync with his laptop and there are 2 numbers from a woman named Hannah. Okay, bet. So my boyfriend and I start looking up these numbers. I never met Hannah, but I knew some specifics. She and my brother back in 2012, 2013-ish, and she lived down in South Carolina. One of the numbers matched a one Hannah F., who now lives in Arizona and used to live in, you guessed it, South Carolina, during the exact time frame that my brother met her. So he made up an entire ayahuasca journey just to get a phone-free weekend with this woman who was probably on the ego high of lifetime, having stolen this married man away from his pregnant wife. Obviously, we're all upset. My sister-in-law is sobbing in my arms. I'm sobbing in her arms. It's a mess. My sister-in-law confronts my brother via text as he's on the plane ride home. Fast forward to now, almost a month later, and the jig is up and the news is out. Everyone in the entire family knows. While we're all very concerned that my brother is most likely going through his first manic bipolar episode, I'm still reeling from the fact that my brother, the man 14 months older than me, the cornerstone the cornerstone of my existence is not the person I thought that he was. I mean, I literally have a living will drafted up saying he is the executor of my estate and the person who can dictate my care if I am unable to. Now I don't know if I would trust him to watch a fridge run. I don't know what to make of anything. This is obviously a developing situation and it's very upsetting. I think the most upsetting thing is that my brother spoke to one of his best friends, friend of almost 15 years, I would say, and he didn't mention one thing about his marriage falling apart or flying his ex-girlfriend out for the weekend with him, or flying back to Arizona again for another weekend with his ex-girlfriend. The only thing he mentioned was, oh yeah, sister-in-law plans to get a C-section, and his poor friend had to learn the hard way after his wife spoke to my sister-in-law about C-sections. My brother's attitude through this whole ordeal has been that he's the victim because my sister-in-law never lets him have a say, and that sister-in-law's parents are overbearing. He has been robotic in all responses and isolating himself with his ex-girlfriend. If he wanted out of the marriage, he could easily have that conversation. He didn't have to go nuclear. If he really wasn't happy, why did they spend all that time on fertility? It makes no sense. Oh, and to add, apparently my brother is looking for engagement rings for Hannah. He is running up the joint credit card. Thankfully, sister-in-law has moved her income and opened her own private accounts. My dad is convinced my brother is a no-good gold digger, but most of the family and friends think that he is showing signs of bipolar disorder. The overspending on spontaneous flights to Arizona makes me agree with that thinking. But my brother did make gold digger remarks when he started going on dates before he met his wife. Didn't think anything of it when they were a relationship lasted so long. Any advice on transversing what is probably going to be the hardest year of my life? Anyone dealt with something similar? How do you maintain a relationship with your sibling? Did you maintain a relationship with your sibling? Okay, that is a lot to unpack. That is a lot to unpack. It does. I don't know, like, I mean, that's not, for me, that's not really enough detail to know, like, if I feel like he is going through a manic bipolar disorder or episode. But I have witnessed many bipolar episodes, manic episodes, and there definitely are like similarities like with the spending and just the rash decision making, like, and just like not fully processing emotions and on like the roboticness of it. But I wouldn't probably explain it that way with the roboticness, but like almost like they don't see the problem, like I don't I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a very surreal experience to witness, and to be honest, very sad and upsetting to witness, especially when it's someone that you care about. I mean, if I were to witness anyone going through that kind of episode, it would definitely be sad, but it's a lot more sad when it's someone that you care about and you've seen being like everyday normal, living their life like happy, and then all of a sudden they go into this manic episode, which can last a long time. And not only that, but it can be very dangerous and very volatile and sometimes physical. Like, as in them, I'm not sure if this is with everyone, but specifically with what I've experienced, it's like, I don't know, they feel sometimes when they're going through that, they get angry like super quick, and then it makes them want to lash out like physically on a person, and then it's just really dangerous and it's really scary. And I hope that someone can help him, or someone, I don't know, it's so hard to say because like I think that in that case, usually a person that's going through a manic, it is not realizing, and they're not going to agree with you that they're in a manic ever. Like, they need to come down from the manic and get help and be medicated before realizing, like, oh my God, you're right. Because otherwise they are totally in denial, and they're never going to be, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm completely normal. I'm just this or just that. Like, they never will say that they are going through a manic episode, because I just don't think that they believe that they are. But yeah, I fully think that if you really think that, he needs to be medicated, because that is truly the only safe way to treat bipolar disorder, in my opinion. I don't think that a bipolar person should be unmedicated, because I just think it's very dangerous, not only to themselves but to others around them. Because also, I think every manic episode can be a little bit different, and from what I've witnessed, the more you have, the worse it gets. I don't know if that's with everybody, but like that fourth manic episode or fifth manic episode, like that's when it really starts to get bad, and then it's like, okay, this is like life or death situation here, because they are making such rash decisions and doing such dangerous things, because they don't have, it's almost like they have like don't have that filter of what it's like. It's like they got like fear taken out of their brain, and like being able to make rational decisions, like rational decision making parts out of their brain, and then they are just like living life like that, and it's so dangerous. And it's like even just 3 days of a manic episode, from what I've seen, is a very like stressful, like it is just a lot. So I hope that if he is having that, I hope that you can also like be empathetic towards that as well, because hopefully if he got medicated and he got better, then he would realize what he did wrong and then make things right, and that would be an amazing like situation. But if he's not, and this is just who he is, then honestly F him and don't have a relationship with him. That's my advice, and that's pretty easy. I mean, not easy, but like that's just, for me, that's like the most rational decision, is you just don't have a relationship at that point, because it doesn't seem like he is a good person at all. But that is if he actually doesn't have a mental disorder. Okay, the top comment says, just be there to support your sister-in-law. She's going to need it. There isn't anything you can do to help your brother until he reaches bottom. Yep, even then, sometimes it changes them so much that there's no going back. Can't unboil an egg. I know you're right. It's just hard when I don't want him to reach bottom. Why? Your selfish brother has left his pregnant wife for a woman who rejected him twice 10 years ago. He should hit bottom. He should feel the full weight of his actions, and you shouldn't be coddling him. He is not some precious boy. He is a cheating, mentally ill grown man who is doing nothing but selfishly hurting his family. Let him go ruin his life and focus on your sister-in-law. No, I don't agree with that at all. Because mental illness, as it's not an excuse for your actions, like it kind of is, like it's not, but it is, because it's like, obviously if you weren't going through that and you didn't have that mental illness, you probably wouldn't be making those decisions and wouldn't be doing these things. But when you're mentally ill, like it's not, especially something as serious as like bipolar disorder, it's just a matter of what do they do with that information, like do they get help, get on medicine, get better, and then realize the consequences of their actions and what they did to hurt so many people, and then make things better, like that's where it differs for me, is like, are they going to make things better and evolve after finding this out and treating themselves? Or are they just going to be this person and then not like take accountability after being better? I don't know if I'm saying what I'm wanting to say, but that's literally my everyday life. Okay. But I have to go let a dog out. Or actually walk a dog. So I have to go, and that is the end of this episode. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Please leave a comment because I always love chatting with you. Like, subscribe, please. Thank you. And share with a friend if you think maybe your friend or a family member would like listening to stories like this and just having a nice little story time episode. Um, I don't know why I'm saying so much, but also in the link below, there is a link to our subreddit. So join that to become a Storytime Society member on our subreddit and share stories or cross post stories or whatever you want to do on there. I would really love to have you on there. I also made some merch that's linked below, and I am waiting for mine to come in. And I don't know if you guys are going to get the vision. I love mermaids, and I've always loved mermaids for literally as long as I've been alive. When I was little, it was genuinely like a scary obsession. But I love mermaids, so I made like a little illustration with Storytime Society like written next to it. And it's just supposed to be like a cute little, I don't know. The vibe is more like, I don't even know how to explain the vibe of it, but it's definitely not supposed to be like super super professional looking. It's just supposed to be a cute little illustration of a mermaid reading a book and drinking a little martini. And yeah, so I feel like it's cute. Like I like it and I would wear it, but if you don't like it, don't even worry about it. I am not offended. There's definitely going to be a lot more designs like coming soon because I don't even care if anyone buys it or not. I simply just want it to wear for myself because I want to make a lot of cute little like mermaid designs and stuff with Storytime Society logo on it. So yeah, I love you guys so much and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Bye. XOXO, XO, gossip girl.